Hello, Stinky Noise Man here again, and today we are going to be making a 24 input touch sensitive controller using two Bareconductive Touch Boards and the Arduino coding software, as well as Soundplant, which is a sample firing software that turns your keyboard into a sample player. The first thing you'll need to do is to download and install Arduino, to download and install the Bareconductive Touch library, and to download and install Soundplant. Once all those are downloaded and installed, we're going to open up Arduino, and the first thing we're going to do is go to File, Sketchbook, and once you've installed the touchboard library, you will see under the Sketchbook examples, the touchboard examples come up, and we're going to open up the HID_keyboard pre-made software. You can see here that it's already opened up behind me, and I've got my two different codes here because we're going to be using two different boards. Within these two codes, we're only going to change two different constants. The first constant we're going to change is the constant bool hold key. This is by default set to true. However, we're going to change this to false. You can see that I've already changed this here. And the next thing that we're going to change is the next line, which is constant character keymap, bracket 12 end bracket. Now these letters inside these curly brackets can be any letters you want, but for the sake of organizing 24 different inputs, I'm going to start in the top left of the letters on the keyboard with Q, and I'm going to work my way all the way across to P and come down to A, work my way all the way across to L, and then work my way to Z and then to B. But each Bareconductive board only has 12 inputs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to save as, and we're going to call our new file soundplant_bctb_1 of 2. And once we do that, we're going to open it up again and save it as a soundplant_bctb_2 of 2, so that we have two different Arduino codes for our two different boards. Again, on the left hand side I have my 1 of 2 board, which the hold key constant boolean is changed to false, and my keymap constant characters are set to Q through S, just following the keyboard naturally from left to right. And then our 2 of 2 code, again, I'm changing my constant boolean to hold key false, and my constant character keymap to D through B. In this case, it's D, F, G, H, J, K, L, Z, X, C, V, and B. Once we're done writing these two constants to our choice, we want to plug in our Bareconductive board. And let me turn on my little window here for the board. You'll see here I've got my board. We are going to go up to our window tools, and we're going to go to board, Bareconductive boards, and then we're going to select the first option, which is Bareconductive Touch Board. Make sure to select this one and not the other one. The USB MIDI iPad compatible is for a different use. The next thing we're going to do is select our port. And you can see for some reason my USB isn't coming up, so I'm going to unplug and plug this guy back in just to see if we can get it to pop up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so under board, we'll select Bareconductive Touch Board, Bareconductive Touch Board, and under port, we're going to select our cu.usb modem. These last 5 digits, HIDP1, this is going to change depending on your board, but generally it should always say cu.usb modem. Now, once we have that selected, on the top left-hand corner of our Arduino window, you'll see two buttons. One is the Verify button. I'm going to click Verify, and what that does, you'll see in the bottom left, is it will compile the software the code, but it won't download it to the Bareconductive board. This is just verifying that there aren't any errors in the code itself. The next thing we will do is select the upload button, and you will see again down here on the left hand side it will say uploading, uploading, uploading. And it seems like we're getting an error, I'm not sure why. The joys of programming. Okay, I think I've got it figured out. So in our Soundplant 1 of 2 code, we're going to go on the top left and click Verify, and it will say Compiling Sketch in the bottom. This is going to compile the code to make sure that there's no errors. Once we've realized there's no errors, we'll click the next button, which is Upload, and this will upload the code to our conductive board. You'll see the lights flashing. All right, and so now it says done uploading. And before you touch the components to get a proof that it's working, we want to make sure that we're not doing this while we're in the Arduino code, and I'll show you why. As you can see where my little cursor is, if I start touching these electrodes, you can see it starts typing in letters. That's because this Bareconductive board has now been coded to essentially function as a keyboard, a typing keyboard. So let's refrain from doing that for right now. So now that we've got the first Bareconductive board loaded, we will do the same thing with the 2 of 2 code onto the other Bareconductive board. Now that we have the codes loaded on both the 1 and the 2 of the Bareconductive boards, we're going to make our way over to Soundplant. And you can see Soundplant here is laid out just like a keyboard, and adding samples into it is really easy. Here I have a list of pre-prepped files, and it's as simple as dragging directly into Soundplant, just like that. And so you can see that I dragged it into letter Q. That's because Q is the first letter, if we look over here, in our list of Keymap letters. And so if I go to Soundplant and I tap electrode 1, you can see now our sample is firing. And you can select multiple files and drag them directly into Soundplant. It will load them automatically. Now for each key, you can see there's a purple halo that exists around whichever key you have selected. This is really important to note because we're going to change one parameter on each one of these samples. The parameter we're going to change is down here in our key mode section. In our key mode section, we have sustain, restart, kill, mute, pause, and fade. If you look over here in our playlist area, if I click the Q electrode multiple times, you can see it starts to load 2 at a time, or it can potentially add up to 3. Let's see if we can do that with the W. Yeah, you can see that it starts multiplying and adding a new sample to be played once the previous sample has been played all the way through. We want to take this option off just to keep our CPU usage down. The way we do that is we change our key mode to restart instead of sustain. So you'll see now if I do this on the Cabasa, if I change it to restart, you can see it will only play that sample once. And we can go through and do that with every sample all the way to our 24th sample. So now that we have all of our samples set up exactly how we want them, we want to save this Keymap with the samples as well, so that when we go to load this up again, all the samples with all of our settings are loaded exactly how we had it. And the way that we do that is over here in our save section. Now in the save Keymap section, there are 3 options. There's save Keymap as, and save Keymap with sounds. We're going to go with save Keymap with sounds. This is going to save a .keymap file as well as keep all of our samples in one folder so that they're in one location. So when the Keymap is loaded, it pulls all of those samples right back. So we'll click the little speaker, and we're going to just call this inst2, and we're going to click Save Folder, and I'm just going to do it on my desktop. You can see it's copying all the sound files here. So now if I go over here to my desktop, you can see that under my inst2 folder we have the samples that we dragged in, as well as our inst.keymap file as well. Well, thanks for coming by and watching. Again, this is Stinky Noise Man. You can find me on Instagram at Stinky Noise Man. You can find me on Twitch at Stinky Noise TV. You can find me on Facebook at Stinky Noise Man, and you can also find me on my website at aaronartrip.com. Thanks for coming by.